continuing on with even more of this linear equations and these slopes. All right, this one, we're going to kind of take a step back from solving for M and B. We'll get a little bit more practice of that on the next page, but a few more topics to go over. So example 6 here, I've given you the entire equation. I'm going to ask you to use that equation in a couple of different ways. So we wanted the balance after 12 years. And this is a mortgage on a loan. And this one you have to think about a little bit. I'm telling you that B is the balance, how much money is left on the loan, and N is the number of monthly payments. And notice we've kind of got a bold in here, but we want to know after 12 years, and those are monthly payments. So I'm going to do a little bit of work. 12 years is the same thing as if we multiply by 12, because there are 12 months in the year. That's 144 months. I don't multiply by 12 because it's the same number. If that had been 14 years, it would have been 14 times 12, because there are always 12 months in a year. And what that means is I'm going to plug in 14 for N, because N was the number of months. And then I can just type that directly in my calculator to get my answer. So nothing fancy. I like these problems. So after 12 years, what I would owe on the house is $58,320. B and C are a little bit more thinking questions instead of like plugging in and doing. We want to know the units for the two numbers in our original equation. So way back up here to the top, that equation I gave us, that 205,200, that is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the number that does not have a variable with it. So the y-intercept is the y value. It's the b value in this case, because we have the letter b instead of y. So it is millions of, sorry, it is not millions. It is just dollars. The units for this is dollars on there. And you also could think about this being the starting balance of the loan. The y-intercept is always the initial or the starting or the beginning. Those are kind of keywords that get used a lot to talk about the y-intercept, is what's going on right when the problem starts. So 1020 is, or negative 1020 is the slope. It's my M. So remember, slope has to use two units, the y units over the x units. In this case, those letters are B and N. We said the y units was dollars. The N unit is months. So the units are dollars per month. We also could say, my pen connected there, that the loan balance decreases, because it's negative, we haven't seen a negative yet, decreases $1,020 per month. So kind of going back to those concepts that we looked at on the first page of this section. All right, let's look at one more before I give you, I promise I'm going to give you some to try. And if you're ready to try it, you can always go ahead and pause it, the video, and try it, and then come back and watch it. That's the good thing about having it online. If you're ready to go on and try some on your own, you're more than welcome to do that. In this problem, I've given you yet another equation where y is the number of global malaria cases and x is our years since 2005. So we're back to using that x equals 0. So the number of global cases since 2005. We want to know the number of global cases in the year 2015. Not going to plug in 2015. I know you've heard me say this a lot of times on the videos. Instead, I'm going to say 2015 minus 2005, and I'm going to plug in 10. So we've done this before. We haven't done it as much in this section, but in some of our past sections, we've done that. I'm going to plug in 10. Type that in my calculator. It's going to give me 108, and this is millions. This one does have millions. million cases of malaria. Now this other way, people don't like quite as much. In this one, I'm going to be finding the year. So I'm going to be solving for X. And that one's always a little bit more work. So I'm going to tell you how many cases there are. Millions written out in words, so I'm not going to add all those zeros. I'm just going to say 188 is equal to my equation. And I'm going to solve for X. Again, we've done this in other sections, not so much in this one. So I subtract 51. I got 137 is equal to 5.7x. I'm going to divide both sides by 5.7. So I get x is equal to 24. 24 is not a year. We started at 2005. So I'm going to say 2005 plus 24 was going to give me the year 2029.